With all the massive changes coming in Season 2 to Marvel Rivals, these are the 10 biggest winners that you need to know about, characters you should consider maining, playing, grinding, or just being generally afraid of, because they're going to be dominant in this Season 2. Now, Season 2 is going to have a 9-division D rank and a further emphasis on your individual performance in ranked games. This means that with the right guidance, you could get Grandmaster, Celestial, Eternity, or even Top 500. And with 30 days of free coaching in the Marvel Rivals Academy, you can climb risk-free in the links down below, and I can't wait to see you there. Now, before we get started on our list, I want to mention one honorable mention, and this one is a combo of characters that I'm very scared of this next season. Specifically, Mantis plus Black Widow. Black Widow has been seeing more and more play in Marvel Rivals, where if you have great aim, you can convert that to consistent pickoffs with Black Widow, especially when you have Mantis damage boost allowing you to one-shot from range. Now, notably, Black Widow is going to be more consistent with the close range combo, being able to fire immediately after your second kick, but also, while Mantis got a health nerf, she now gets to double stack the damage boost. So, double stacking it on Black Widow allows your Widow to have 16 seconds of one-shot capability. This is insane. In the hands of a Black Widow that is good, not only are they just going to be more reliable from close range, which means all the things that counter them, they're going to be better at dealing with, but now they get to go on really long flanks and just insta-kill you, and basically almost always have just one-shot uptime. That is absurd and incredibly horrifying. Everyone knows how strong one-shot characters are in hero shooters, and this enables that so much. I'm horrified, you should be horrified, and if you got great aim, now might be the time to farm this duo and climb in Season 2. Now, that being said, let's go to number 1, the first big winner in Season 2. I have Psylocke. And Psylocke did not receive any direct changes to her kit besides a new synergy, which we will talk about in a second with Emma Frost. But that's actually not the main reason that Psylocke is so much better in Season 2. At the tail end of the last season, Psylocke started getting better and better because she has good matchups against characters like Hela, the ability to sneak up on her and just basically burst her down. And she has reasonable matchups against Star-Lord. Even when Star-Lord is intangible in his E, he's actually able to still be shot with the spread of Psylocke. And Psylocke has generally a good matchup against Star-Lord and really any character, because Psylocke is so reliable at dealing directly with a lot of characters. She wins almost any 1v1, and she has a really great ultimate. So against comps that she can't dive the backline, go in, be super aggressive against, she can farm the front line, attack what her team is attacking, build her ultimate that is capable of wiping enemy teams if they don't have defensive ultimates. And now we're seeing other characters that were stronger than Psylocke or more played than Psylocke see substantial nerfs, characters like Star-Lord, for instance. And with nerfs to things like Totem and Soul Bond, especially on Adam Warlock, Psylocke is going to be even better at a more flanky, aggressive style in ranked, where she just tries to one-shot backlines and really just get pickoffs in the middle of the fight. So the fact that Psylocke gets to do all these really strong things, and the fact that a lot of the better DPS than her got nerfed and have been brought down a peg, Psylocke is going to be better than ever. And that doesn't even talk about the new combos with Emma Frost. Being able to create a duplicate of yourself and use that as extra burst to a combo to one-shot someone in the backline means that some small mistake can turn into Psylocke just insta-killing you out of nowhere. This is incredibly powerful, and I really do think that Emma Frost is going to see a ton of play, regardless of how good she is, even though I do think she's very good. Psylocke mains are going to be able to leverage that more than any other character, and Psylocke is just an insane winner in this season. I'm telling you right now, if there's one character that you should pick up, start grinding, and become really dominant with, I would recommend Psylocke as a DPS player. Such a flexible DPS that's good against almost every single character. Doesn't have that many bad matchups, if any at all. Highly recommend. The number 2 on the list is one that I think is going to make a huge splash in Season 2, and it's Rocket. Rocket is getting a lot of different changes, and some of them are controversial. Changes to the ultimate, less ult damage boost, but now there's consistent healing or shields that is going to be applied to everyone within range that falls off when you leave the effective range of it. And while this is going to allow you to not one-shot nearly as much, it is going to be more comparable to a defensive ultimate, right? It's a little bit of both, and I think the best kind of example or comparison I could give is like a more powerful Mantis ult in a lot of ways. The combination of extra pressure plus extra damage is just really busted, and I honestly think that the new Rocket ultimate is more powerful than most support ultimates in the game. I would literally put it number 3, just behind Luna and Loki's ultimate, and it's gonna win you a ton of fights just by itself. Whether you're using it offensively, defensively, when you're down in numbers, when you're up in numbers, like, it's gonna win you so many freaking fights. I think it's an amazing ultimate. And it doesn't require a combo like I think it needed before, where you needed a very specific team-oriented offensive action to get the most amount of value with it. You just don't need to do that anymore. There's really not that many bad situations to drop down this ultimate. And then combine that with the fact that Rocket can burst heal now. And I know he's going to give like less healing overall, and you have to actually aim the orbs. But being able to heal a tank like a Groot from low to 100 in more than double the rate is crazy. Like, that is insane, and that allows a lot of compositions to see play that just didn't really see play before. Like, Rocket Loki is something that I think is reasonable now, more reasonable than it was before, because now Rocket can actually take care of the tanks and heal them up to full. He's not just providing a ton of AoE healing, he's actually providing burst healing. Then you combine that with the Res Beacon, which is just actually one of the most powerful abilities in the game, because you get to turn a fight back to parity. Most of the time when a team loses somebody, they just lose the fight. It just happens slowly. You don't realize it. But being down someone, whether they're providing heals or damage or pressure, whatever it is, that's a big deal, and BRB just wipes it away. So there's really so many positives to the changes of Rocket that make him so much stronger and more reliable than he was before. And you might be saying, Mills, he got huge nerfs to his mobility. And this is what I'll say, he still has the second best mobility in the support roster besides Jeff. And as a support that can provide mass frontline healing, he has the best mobility. It's still better than Invisible Woman. And yeah, you got to be a bit more conservative with your positioning now on Rocket for sure. But that doesn't mean that you're all of a sudden able to be dove or super weak to divers or anything like that. You still have great mobility. You still have wall climb. You still have lunges. Like, you're not going to instantly just die to someone diving you now. You just have to be a bit smarter with how you're using your mobility. And what you're getting back for that lack of mobility is crazy. Invest in Rocket stocks now, because he's about to be up in a big way. Then number 3, we have Hulk, and there's a ton of buffs that happen to Hulk. Not only can he move faster default, he can jump more frequently now. He has more shields because they're on lesser cooldowns now. Hulk is a huge winner, and he now has a new synergy with freaking Namor, which is an amazing synergy. And he also still has a synergy with Iron Man, who's even better now because Iron Man got buffed. So Hulk just has a lot going for him that just makes him undoubtedly very, very strong this season. Much stronger than he was last season, and potentially one of the best tanks in the game. That's how much they push Hulk. And we've seen metas where Hulk was really, really good. He was banned all the damn time. And we might be entering that in Season 2. That's the only downside, is that Hulk might be too good to where he's getting hit by the target ban. But here's the thing. There's so many great characters in Season 2, and it was like that at the end of Season 1, but even more so now, that it's going to be hard to ban anything. Like, there's a million things you're going to want to ban, and you can't ban it all. And, you know, it doesn't matter really how powerful a character is. It's going to slip through the cracks. And Hulk is not an easy character to learn, but it's one of those characters that I think right now in Season 2 is worth learning by a giant margin, because he's going to create so much value with the synergies. He's going to create so much consistent value overall. He's a very flexible tank that can dive people, can contest certain characters that are carrying on the enemy team. He's like one of those tanks that can hard carry in the right hands more than just about any other tank. And he's just really fitting the right numbers. Like, we've seen Hulk meta before. We know what meta Hulk looks like. And right now, just everything is lining up for Hulk. I mean, this is an incredibly pushed buff. And with the inclusion of the Namor synergy, I really do think that the devs want Hulk to be meta. And that's most likely what we're getting, a Hulk meta. He's definitely going to be dominant in ranked. I imagine he's going to be dominant in pro play as well, or a lot more picked in pro play as of these changes. So yeah, this is a great time to learn Hulk, but I don't think he's easy by any metric. There's easier tanks to learn and get value with at a floor, but at a ceiling, Hulk is just such a hard carry that I have to recommend him. Then number 4 on the list might surprise you, but this character has been good for a while, and he's just even better. I'm actually freaking surprised they buffed him, and it's Iron Fist. So for 275 HP heroes, he's going to do the same amount of damage as before, but for any character above that, he's now doing even more damage to tanks. And for those of you who don't know, here's the general playstyle of Iron Fist. He goes in on the backline, he can provide pressure on backline characters and still kill them in isolation, but now he can pivot to the front line and abuse tanks as well. Like, he gets flexibility to fight either or, and like in the old rendition of Iron Fist, he was kind of all in on the backline. The front line, the tanks, they could just ignore him completely. So he either one-shot or killed the back lines and was just uncontested, or he didn't really do anything. Now he can deal with all things. Backline, front line, he's more flexible than he's ever been before, which really helped his biggest problem, which was his uptime problem. Like, there was a lot of times where he went into a fight, he didn't bait out the cooldown he wanted, or that person got peeled, and then he just had to completely leave the fight until he got his cooldowns back. He doesn't have that problem nearly as much anymore. And with the new buffs now to the way that his shields is going to fall off after meditating, not as much shields, but falls off far slower. So now he's going to be able to keep some of that shield for longer. And he has 2 seconds off his kick. This all combines to Iron Fist just being way more reliable, consistent, powerful than he was in the previous season. And he was already reasonable in the previous season. I also think it's really important to talk about Iron Fist because he has crazy good matchups against two tanks that are still going to be really dominant in Season 2. Groot and the Thing. Both tanks that... like, the Thing just barely got nerfed, even though he was like a top 3-4 tank, and Groot was the best tank last season and he didn't get nerfed at all. Iron Fist is very good against both of these characters. Iron Fist really gets to bully these tanks unlike almost any other character, and even more so in the Thing's case than like Wolverine, because he doesn't rely on crowd control to do it. He just freaking throws hands and just whoops you. So yeah, it's crazy. Even Flyers Iron Fist has reasonable matchups against, and I do think that this character is going to see a lot more play in Season 2, and players are going to start being annoyed again by Iron Fist in Season 2, especially tank players like myself. I'm going to lose my freaking mind, but yeah, I cannot lie. This character's nuts. He's crazy good, really strong. And while I do stream, I'm not the guy to watch to learn Iron Fist. I would recommend checking out my boy Imwind. He streams and he does YouTube on Iron Fist. He's an Eternity Plus top 500 Iron Fist, so I'll leave his links in the description down below. Give him a follow and a sub because, yeah, this is a character that's hard to learn, and I'm not going to be able to teach you that much about Iron Fist, to be honest with you, because I don't know what the hell I'm doing. Now, number 5 is Luna, and Luna did receive a loss in her synergy with Namor, which is a big deal, but other than that, this character didn't receive any nerfs, and that's kind of crazy coming from the best support previously, and most likely still gonna be a top 2 or top 3 support. Luna just got a lot going for her. She has 275 HP, she has a very, very good form of crowd control. She's good at both healing up front lines massively, but also taking care of flankers and flyers because she can put Snowflake on them. And her ultimate is just the best in the game, or second best next to Loki, because Loki can copy Luna as well, and it's a bit more flexible. But Luna's is just reliable, strong, and yeah, this character is still freaking amazing. I really just don't have a ton more to say than that. I know that she does require aim. She is hard to play. I think Luna players can really carry a game by canceling ultimates with your slow, by tracking ultimates, understanding how to set up combos. Like, even though you don't synergize with Namor anymore with the synergy way, but you can still damage boost his ultimate and get one shots. There's still a lot of things that you could do in that regard. And yeah, Luna's still amazing. Also, we just talked about Iron Fist. They have a synergy together that really gives Luna a nice form of crowd control and burst healing to protect her. I think that that synergy is so good, and people just really, really sleep on it. People don't even think about it that much. I think it's because Iron Fist isn't played enough or as much, but we're going to see a giant uptick this season. But really, if you're looking for a support to either fill to or just main, Luna might just be your best pick because she's going to fit into basically any composition. I don't really see a comp where she's bad into, and she's going to be good no matter what your team is playing. So yeah, highly recommend Luna. Very, very good in Season 2. And one of the few supports that got by with no nerfs or no meaningful nerfs. And yeah, that's great. Now for number 6, I'm actually cheating. I'm talking about 2 tanks in number 6. I know, sorry, but I'm talking about Groot and Magneto. I wanted to talk about both of them together because while Magneto did get a nerf to his ultimate charge, that's not going to destroy the character or make the character unplayable. It's going to suck, yeah, but it doesn't really fundamentally hurt Magneto in a crazy way. Plus with Star-Lord nerfs, he's not going to be as fast to his ultimate, so you're going to have a bit more time to like build yours up anyways to counter his, whatever. And then Groot didn't get any nerfs, and these tanks were undoubtedly 1 and 2. I don't know in which order, because Magneto's a bit more flexible in the compositions he could be played in, from Mag Thing to Mag Venom. And then Groot is just like the most objectively powerful tank last season. These characters are still nuts. They're still the same. They're still fundamentally the same characters. So they're still gonna be broken. They're still gonna be insane. Like, Groot is not weaker. The only difference now is that there's more competition for the slots. Like with Emma Frost being good and Hulk being good and Cap getting a buff as well. Like, these characters are gonna have more competition for the placement, but they didn't go out and be like, hey, Magneto and Groot are the best tanks, let's just nerf them. They didn't do that. They kept these powerful tanks just as powerful. And yeah, that means that these characters are still great to pick up. Like, I was actually afraid to learn Groot at the end of last season because I'm like, why am I going to learn a character that's going to get hit by a giant nerf? Because I know he's the best tank. And he didn't get nerfed. I should have been learning him the whole time. But it's time to pick him up now. So I'm starting my grind. I'm going to learn Groot, and I'm going to be really good at Groot because you can carry harder on Groot than just about any tank. There are counters to him, but if you like ban Wolverine, which now you can do all the way down in gold, you don't have that much to worry about. I mean, the Punisher Rocket synergy can be a little frustrating. Fuck it, ban Rocket. I don't know, but you don't really need to. You can kind of counterplay that. It's mainly Wolverine that's the biggest problem. And Groot dominates. He can carry an entire lobby. Magneto's just always good and flexible. Also the best solo tank, in my opinion. These characters are really good. Plus, Magneto now gets the synergy with Emma Frost. You get 2 Magnetos, which doesn't help you as much as Psylocke, but being able to bubble someone, bubble yourself, that's really, really good. And just being the perfect natural pairing for an Emma Frost. I kind of put Emma Frost in like this off-tank category where she wants to be able to play make and be a little bit, you know, contest like isolated engagements and things like that. She pairs really well with Magneto. She also strengthens some of his weaknesses. She's a great anti-dive tank. So Magneto and Emma make a lot of sense. So yeah, anyways, these characters are still good. Don't sleep on them just because they're not like the spotlight here. They were the best and they still are. Yeah, you know, it's still great. The number 7 is one that you might be sleeping on, but you need to wake the frick up because it's Iron Man. And Iron Man has been slowly getting buffs. Every single patch, they buff him a little bit. They buffed him a little bit. Notably in the mid-season patch, they buffed him a little bit more. Made him a little bit more powerful with his splash damage. And now they buffed him again, giving him shields when he uses his E, his overload, or his gamma. That is crazy, because what this means is that when Iron Man wants to go in and beam you to death, he's gonna have a giant amount of health, like a really big amount of health that takes forever to leave and takes forever to fall off. This means that you could just hit him in the body a whole bunch of times as Hela and lose the fight, which you just couldn't do before. Like, sure, you could dink him, but he's gonna kill you in like a matter of seconds, like even less, and it's gonna be so hard to duel him. And that's in like most optimal situations where you're not missing at all. Iron Man was already strong before. Like, we saw the super strong Iron Man meta with the Hulk synergy before. And while that synergy isn't as strong now, which is important to note, Iron Man himself is individually stronger now. He's a lot stronger now. And I really do think that the trilogy of Hulk, Iron Man, plus Namor is a good starting point for a composition that attacks from multiple angles. Iron Man just gets to apply so much pressure. Namor gets to flank and potentially flank deny himself, so he gets to do both. And then Hulk just gets to be really disruptive, dive backline. And then like a world where Iron Man's poking down, Namor's flanking aggressively, and Hulk's jumping in. I see the vision here for an insane composition. And individually, I see Iron Man as a really sleeper carry pick. Like, I really, really think that Iron Man could be meta this season, but I'm undoubtedly sure that Iron Man is gonna carry ranked games this season. Even if he's not pro meta, he still will be dominant in ranked. That I'm sure of. He's gonna be very, very good in ranked for people that learn him and master him. But yeah, he might be so strong that he will break into pro meta. I really want you to keep an eye on Iron Man because I think he has some of the biggest potential out of any character on this list. One thing about Iron Man though is he's actually harder to play than people think. People think you could just sit there and spam, but playing cover, vertical cover, and being very deliberate by how you peek, that's one. Having general good tracking with your beam, the better you're tracking, the more likely you are to one-clip people with that beam. And then just good understanding of how a fight is moving and flowing, when you can hit your ultimates, being consistent with your ultimates, and the fact that your ultimate kills defensive ultimates is a really big plus to Iron Man. Like, there's a lot about him that I think is lining up perfectly right now. So yeah, if you're looking for a character to pick up that is a little under the radar, I recommend him. Now, once again, I'm going to cheat for number 8 because it's two supports that basically didn't get any meaningful changes. It's Loki and Invisible Woman. Loki got 5 seconds on his totem, and Invisible Woman got 50 shields on her deployable shield. And you might be like, Mills, but my shields, but my totem. And here I'm to tell you that Loki was the second best or the best support in the game. Invisible Woman was the clear third best support in the game. And they're still the second and third best support in the game, most likely. These characters are still insane. And I understand, Totem getting nerfed, it does suck, right? But Adam Warlock's Soul Bond got nerfed by 10 seconds. Loki only got nerfed by 5. And his cooldown starts when he starts the ability. And in general, like, that's not what made Loki so dominant. Like, this is a really powerful cooldown when used. You've got to be a bit more conservative about when you use it. But you got to teleport. You can go invisible. You have multiple totems. You have great mobility. Like, you should be able to not have to use it. And that's kind of the skill involved in the ability. And everyone knows just how powerful Totem is. It's undoubtedly a top 3 ability, maybe the most powerful individual ability in the entire game. And then move over to Invisible Woman, where the 50 shields is kind of a laughable change. It's just a slight slap on the wrist. These are nerfs that, in my opinion, don't move these characters from being super dominant. It's not enough. It's like the Magneto ult change. It's just not enough to destroy these characters' strength, these viability, and have other characters overtake them, especially when the other competitors, quote unquote, to these characters got just as much changes or more. I still have Loki, Luna, and Invisible Woman pegged as the top 3 supports, with a little bit of an asterisk to Rocket, because none of the other supports got buffed enough to be better than these characters, and these characters didn't get nerfed enough to become worse, like they were dominant last season. The only character that got changed massively is Rocket, so he's the only unknown, which I think is going to be very good. Basically, these characters are 100% worth learning and are still going to be meta. Don't let their changes or their nerfs dissuade you from playing them, and that's why I'm putting them in the winners. They technically did get nerfed, but they're still going to be amazing in Season 2. They're still going to define Season 2, and they're still absolutely characters you should main in Season 2. The number 9 is hard. This is the last tank I can put on the list. I put 3 tanks on the list every single time, and I kind of cheated with the Groot and Magneto, so technically 4. But I wanted to mention Cap, because Cap is getting a 5% damage boost. I think he will be reasonable for ranked, but there's one character that I really want to talk about more than Cap, and it's PENI. Because I think PENI is going to be a demon this season, like an actual demon. If you already are good at PENI, I feel like you're going to get a lot of free wins, a free SR in ranked play with her increase in power level, the movement speed, to the health increase, to the random crits you're going to get. Everything you could want on PENI is now here. This character is going to single-handedly raid boss lobbies, where if players are uncoordinated, which happens a lot in ranked, people are just going to randomly die to PENI. They're going to have pennies in their backline. They just can't contest. People are going to get constantly gripped over and over again and shut down. And there's a lot of tanks that suck against PENI. Venom gets gripped non-stop against PENI. Thing gets gripped non-stop against PENI. Thor gets gripped non-stop against PENI. Like, PENI is really good against all these tanks. She's also very good against the divers. And with the decrease, in my opinion, there's going to be a decrease in, like, Namor anti-dive, because Hulk is just going to be harder to play for most people than Luna is to just in a random composition. There's a slight nerf to Totem. There's a big nerf to Soul Bond. There's also a nerf to things like Star-Lord. There's nerfs to Bucky Hook. So there's a lot of anti-dive stuff that kind of went out the window a bit. But PENI is here to stay, and she's kind of like the great equalizer that's like, you know, all you dive nonsense, I'm going to shut you down. Like, you think you're going to have free reign this season, you divers, but you're not. PENI is here. And yeah, and so for a lot of you supports, PENI is kind of your saving grace. But for everyone else, you're gonna hate this character. Like, this character is gonna take over your lobbies. I really do think that if you haven't learned her, you should at the very least play her a little bit so you know how to shut her down, how to interact with her, what the heck she's doing in your game, so you have some idea about what's going on when you see a PENI setup in your backline on an off angle, and you're like, how the hell is she there? Why the hell is she there? Why is she killing my team? And then, of course, if you need PENI tips, I highly recommend going to check out Cringe Alarm's YouTube channel and his Twitch stream. His links will also be in the description down below. But yeah, I mean, he's just the best PENI in the world, and he just demolishes everybody. I'm not gonna queue when that guy's on. Like, I'm not queuing. I'm not queuing when that guy's playing. And number 10 is the last honorable mention, and this is the one that I'm secretly the most afraid of, and it's Mr. Fantastic. So Mr. Fantastic has been a rather weak character for most of his life cycle, right? He did get some changes, but they were mostly a missed mark, and Mr. Fantastic just hasn't been very reliable, although there are some players that have figured him out, know how to play him well, and they do play him well, and they do get value with him, even in the highest ranks of play, all the way in Eternity and Top 500. But these buffs that Mr. Fantastic gets right now is just crazy insane. Like, they took a character that is a little weak, like on the weaker side for sure, and just gave him an absurd amount of buffs, a crazy amount of buffs, to the point where I think this character is, he's gonna be like a fine character to play, but the people that really know him are gonna feel unstoppable. Like, they're just beating you down, giving you back shots, and there's nothing you could do about it. And then he's gamu-gamuing all over your face, and you're just fucking, oh, it's over, okay? This character, I'm afraid of this character. And he's actually like really, really good for those of you who know how to play him. I mean, all of the changes to his damage, his form, and his ultimate, there's just a lot going on here that just add up to this character just being a very powerful threat that I think could take the place of a second tank in a lot of compositions, or you could play a bit more brawly 3-tank composition with Mr. Fantastic as well. He's also one of the best characters you could learn to be anti-dive. We talked about PENI being a great anti-diver. Mr. Fantastic is also a great anti-diver. He's just never going to get killed by a dive. He's going to be able to deny and mess up a lot of divers. So whether it's Spider-Man or Black Panther or any other diver in your backline, Mr. Fantastic is a great fold to that. And I think you're going to need more folds to that this season, with the decrease in power level of some of these other anti-divers and the decrease in relevancy. So yeah, Mr. Fantastic is a great honorable mention, and I think he's just a great character to just, you know, put in your back pocket, and one of the best winners in Season 2 for sure. Now, do you agree or disagree with my analysis of the biggest winners in Season 2, or is there any character you think that I missed on this list that you are going to main in Season 2? Let me know why in the comments down below. Definitely check out the Marvel Rivals Academy for 30 days of free coaching in the links down below. Thank you so much for coming by. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you next time.